Alan, can you read this for us?
What fraction of the fruits are apples?
All right, can you turn and talk and confer with your mathematician next to you?
I think it would be 3 Well, yeah, 3 Yeah, 3
Math workshop is really important to math instruction here at APS because it allows students to have ownership and build their identity of doers and thinkers of mathematics.
One thing about Math Workshop and why we promote it is because a lot of research-based practices are embedded in that. So if you notice at the very beginning of class, the teacher is really working to build that classroom community, as well as students' identity as a mathematician and student agency. So their ideas are important, their thoughts are important.
8 plus 8.
She's always offering students an opportunity to talk to each other. She's built such an incredible community in her classroom. Christine also does a beautiful job of highlighting her students, allowing them to take the lead. We were able to see a student facilitate the calendar today and share their learning with their peers. That communication is a process goal for the state of Virginia. It's really important for students to be able to communicate with one another, and Christine, to me, does that masterfully.
Christine Chappie, who is the coach here at Randolph, was really working with the teacher, and most people wouldn't recognize that she was kind of modeling how to dig into deeper questions. So when the students were looking at the model set, for example, she then started to pose some additional questions, like what fraction of the set are not apples?
I'm wondering, you said 3/8 of the fruit are apples, 5/8 of the fruit are pineapples. I'm wondering why the numerators are different, but the denominator has stayed the same. I have a wondering about that.
Not just to remind the teacher of looking or posing questions in multiple ways, but to model that practice. And so that is something that's very simple, job-embedded professional learning, which also just demonstrates the importance of coaches not only able to work and plan with CLTs, but to be able to get into classrooms and model on the spot immediately based on what she sees.
When she comes in, she just helps me with my thinking, helps me with my language, makes me think, different ways I could present and different ways I can support my students.
One thing that you may have noticed as well when they were doing the count around is that they were actually placing down fractional pieces. And so in addition to hearing and learning about fractions, they get to visualize it and make more connections. One thing about having manipulatives or tangibles available to support your thinking is we know a lot of people learn that way, are tactile learners. But also people who that's not necessarily their best learning style. When you talk about those multiple modes, it really helps to build a conceptual understanding around that.
All right, let's share a brownie with Ben.
For workshop model in math to happen, you do have to have a team of professionals who get together every week in a CLT, in a collaborative learning team, guided by the math coach so that they can plan for all of these differentiated activities.
Teachers are no longer just presenting their own ideas and understandings of mathematics, but really it's on the students to develop their understanding of the concepts and demonstrate that within the workshop model. And the workshop model allows that because the students are taking ownership of their learning through that interaction, through that communication piece.
So if you split these apart, you get 4 plus 4, which is also 8. And I used my reflex math and...
When students were looking at that set, some students were counting the set in ones, but you notice the student said, well, there are 4 over here and 4 over here, so there's a total of 8. So I can guarantee you that there's a student in that room who wasn't thinking that way, and now they have that perspective as well on something as simple as counting.
About how many are orange?
How many pieces can this go to? Like this, until this, until this, until this, until this?
Yeah, what a wonderful wondering.
Some students will be in small group with the teacher. That small group is driven by the data that the teacher has about the students and the goals that she has for their learning. You'll also notice students working independently, and 2 things are there. Students have choice on some of the mathematics that they're going to engage in, But it's good to understand that the teacher is selecting those activities based on what the students need. One thing that I love about our changes in instruction is in this model, students are engaged and they're excited about mathematics.
They love math. They love math workshop. They're very engaged. They love explaining their thinking and modeling and going to the board, and now with our smart panel being able to interact with that more. It's been inspiring to see. They just love using the math workshop.
It's been really exciting to see everyone come out of last year and think about what we really need to do to prepare our students to move forward.
And having this independence and this agency of their own learning is something that they can extrapolate to other areas.
Students who have developed a strong mathematical understanding in the elementary years actually have a stronger prediction of their success as students in all subjects as they progress through their learning.
We know that early numeracy skills is really a great predictor of outcomes for students. So if we think about how technology has changed, we need students to have multiple perspectives to build upon their own.
So the goal is really to build autonomy in our students, to build that conceptual understanding so that our students really understand the why behind the math when they're learning from not only their teacher, but also from each other. So it's exciting to be able to see that firsthand.